Hello and welcome to Know Exactly Where. Thank you for joining. Today we're going to go to see what's going to happen in April. So we are on the 11th of April. We're almost a third of the month has gone through, and we already have some new functionality to show. So we're going to see the team management demo, which is one of the biggest functionalities that are going to go live this month. This is partially live already, although it's not enabled for any user yet, but it's there. So I can show it to you on the live version, and I just wanted to dedicate some time to actually go and show it there. So we're going to go directly into the system. It's not going to take a long time. We're probably going to be 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the questions, a little more maybe. I want to show you the functionality of how to create teams. That's what we're going to cover: how to create teams, how to add members to the teams, what the members need to do to accept being part of the teams, and then how to create roles that you can reuse. So you can create team roles that you will later on be able to reuse in your project templates and your projects. So we're going to get started. I hope, yeah, I think you see me correctly. We are there. I'm sharing the screen already, so it's as easy as going into Know Exactly Where. So for the demo today, we're going to do two things. So we're going to have two main users we're going to use to demo this. One is going to be demo Q1. That's going to be the team manager for this example. And then we're going to have demo key 3, who's going to be the project manager who belongs to the team we're going to be creating, and who can take advantage of that team and the other team members. So the first thing I do, I'm going to connect with the team manager. So I go to this user, demoq1 gmail.com, and then we enter the password. Okay, so we're here, and as you can see here on top, I have a new menu called Teams, and this is the menu. Excuse me, I think you don't see me right now. Not like this, like that. So here there's a Teams menu. We're going to go into it. This demo key 1 is going to be creating the team. It's going to be the team manager. So I'm going to create the team. Let's say that it's an implementation team. So I'm going to call it implementation. I press create. And the first thing I have to do on any team is to update the team members. So here there's an empty list of team members because we just created the team. And I'm going to be adding these team members. So let's add a team member. Let me take some names, random names. So the first one is going to be John Myers, and his email address is going to be demoq3. We're going to use the same one just for the purpose of simplification on to see how to approve those team members and to not be changing accounts all the time. But basically, let's imagine that every person has different email address. We can play that little game. We're going to use the same one for all. So John Myers, we say that that's the email address of John Myers. Let's say we have Karen Hernandez. We keep the same email address. Let's say we have Lisa Higgins and the same email address. And we have Mohammed Bar, and they have the same email address. Okay, so the first thing is, as you can see, we can add the members. You can edit the names. You can actually edit the names and edit the email address as well. But if you change the email address of any member, they will have to re-accept. So if they have already accepted the invite to be part of the team, and you change the email address, or they change the email address, they will have to re-accept the membership. So in this case, we can edit, and of course we can delete members, and we can invite them. So one thing is to add them here, and the other thing is to actually invite them for real. So actually an email is being sent right now to each one of them as I click these invite members button. So if we go to the actual email for this user, remember we use the demo Q3. So if I go to this inbox, you're going to see yellow inbox here in Gmail. you're going to see, actually, I have it twice because I repeated it. I repeated this test some minutes ago, but let's say that the ones from 0 minutes ago are the relevant ones, not the other ones. So we have here John Myers, Karen Hernandez, Mohamed Kabar, and Melissa Higgins. Four emails. They should be in different inboxes, of course, because they should have different emails. But you can see what they would receive, and they have to purposefully accept to be part of this team. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to just accept. Karen Jan Myers is accepting, and then a new window opens saying that the invitation has been accepted successfully. And the same is true for Karen. The same is true for Mohammed. And the same is true for Melissa. So the four members have separately accepted this. So when we go back to know exactly where, and this page is refreshed, those members show as accepted. They have accepted the invitation. And if we edit them and change the email address for any of them, that will have to be re-accepted. So no member, it's not taken for granted anything. Any new email address needs to be verified separately. So that's step number one, to create the members. That's very straightforward. And then step number two is to actually, this is an optional step. Number two is to assign the roles. And actually the functionality that we're going to demo today is the one where the roles are really the thing that we're using and the thing that is useful to have. In the future, this demo is called part one, because part two of Teams will be growing into a different direction and having the ability to share projects within the team, etc. So there's a bigger functionality coming up. But for this demo, we're going to be showing how to create roles that are team roles, how to assign those roles into a project, or in the project template first and then into a project, and then what is the use of having those roles coming from a team. So we updated the members, that's fine, and then we assign the roles. So the first thing, we enter the assign roles screen, and here we have the different team members, and here we have the roles. So we can create roles in a very similar way as we create them when we're in a project or a project template. So we just create the new role, we give a color, it's exactly the same input that we need. So we're going to say that we have a project manager here, we have a consultant. Let me give a different color to the consultant. Let's say that we have an IT person as well. Let's give a different color for the IT person. Okay, this blue, it's going to be IT. And then let's say that we have a service manager, for example, that are going to be helping in the project as well. Okay, so I'm going to create this role as well. And now I can assign it in the same way I usually assign it, but instead of assigning it to tasks, because we're not in the projects or project templates, we're assigning them to the actual people. So the roles they play. So let's say John is the project manager. Let's say Karen is either a consultant or a project manager as well. She can act in both roles. Let's say that Melissa is either consultant, or the IT. And Mohammed, let's say that the service manager, is the only person as a service manager. So that's it. So we can say, okay, in this case, everybody has a role, so everything is correct. You can see here the messages when something is not totally fine. The green check here means that things are okay. But for example, if I remove, let's say that I remove the service manager role from Mohammed, and I click done, I'm going to be told that there are team roles that are not assigned to any member. In this case, the service manager was not assigned to anybody. And there are members without a role assigned as well. In this case, the same, for the same reason. So in this case, it's telling us there's a role that is useless, check it out, or there's somebody without a role. So even if I assign a role, so let's imagine I assign this role to Melissa, and I click OK. Now it doesn't tell me that there's roles that are not assigned to anybody, because all the roles have been assigned at least to one person, but it tells me that there are members without a role assigned, which is a problem, but a secondary problem, but still a warning that it shows. So in this case, I'm going to say that Mohammed is the service manager. Let's leave Melissa also as a service manager just for fun. So we're going to have more people available in different roles. That's going to make sense later on. Okay, so that's the first step, and that would be it. So we've created our team. we've assigned the roles to the team and to the team members. That's it. You can see here a team calendar option. It's a little teaser coming soon. And here there is a little note on what's going to happen with this option. The idea is that members are going to be able to share their projects into a team where they belong. And that's going to give the team visibility over those projects. And it's going to be like a main dashboard on the whole team capability. That's coming soon as well. So team definition is done. Team roles are done. We can log off. And we're going to log on with the project manager. Remember, demo Q3 is playing all the roles in this case, but they are playing also the role of the project manager. So this person has a project template that is predefined. I created it previously. It's a very simple project template. You're going to see now what it entails. So team members check. It's the name of the template, and we have only 5 tasks. That's very simple. Each task depends on the previous one. Very simple as well. And here in the roles, they're empty. So there's no roles assigned. This is on purpose. And finally, there are some durations you're going to see next. But the whole point is that you will see, or you will realize, that there's a new button in this screen that you didn't see before. So you have the create new role usual button that's still available. You can create a new role out of the blue with no teams assigned, with no teams involved, which is the normal way of doing things. But then there's this new way, which is adding a role from a team. So the system detects that demo Q3 belongs to a team, and it's offering to add roles from that team. So add team members that have that have accepted the invitation. They are available here to be selected. Well, actually, in this case, not the team members, but the roles. So first the roles are available in here. So when the button is pressed, we see implementation team. If there were more than one team that this user belonged to, we would see more than one team here. And when clicking the team, we get the different roles that we can assign. Well, actually, that we can create. So in this case, let's say that I add the consultant, I add the IT, I add the project manager, and I add the service manager. And let's start randomly assigning this to tasks. It makes this is a small name. It makes it difficult. Of course, we are going to make a little invention here. Okay, this project has tasks with no description, so it's difficult to know who has to do what. But anyway, this is a test. So you would have here you can see the roles are in the same way as you would normally have them, only that you don't have to create them at this stage, but they have already been created, so you just select them from the list. So that's basically what you do. You could create potentially the same role twice, so there's no limit on adding roles. So we can have 2 consultants for this project for whatever reasons, and here they are, and they would appear in the same way that they would appear if you created them manually. There's no restriction there. So we can delete this. So that's it. So we have completed the template by adding the roles. The roles are coming from the team. This button wouldn't show if I didn't have any team to take roles from. That's it. There's some durations here as well, and that's it. So the very next step then is to create the project based on that template that we just finished. So we press here, and we are going to choose, let's say, team project. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to create that. And then we see that the definition is fine. The durations are fine. We can create the calendar. But the fun of it all, so actually if we go to the definition, it's completely fine because we have the roles created. We have every single step in the definition of the project created. But, and this is the fun part, is we have the roles as well. They come from the template in the same way. If we duplicate a template, it also copies them through. And if you create a project from a template, it also does. And if you create a project standalone, you still can add your roles in the same way. So they can be added from a team in the same way we did in the template. So that's fine. Everything looks good. But then the useful part, or where it all comes together, is when you update the participants. So you may remember updating participants before this functionality of Teams. You had to enter each email address for everybody at this stage. But in this case, now what the system does, because of the Teams, is to detect that these roles these roles here, the consultant, the IT, the project manager, and the service manager, the system knows that they come from a team. Therefore, here in the email, it's not going to be just a text, a blank text. It's going to be, let's say, an autocomplete text, something we can type things into, and it's going to find the different members that belong to this role. So in this case, actually just clicking on it displays this list you can take from. If you had many people in this case, we only have 4 people in this team, so it's rather easy to know who it would be. It would be Karen, or it would be Melissa in this case, because the only IT was Melissa. The project manager could be John or Karen, and the service manager could be Melissa or Mohammed. This is taking into consideration what we configured previously. So you just simply can do here. It's going to be the same email address in this case. This is a bit weird, of course, because usually they would have different email addresses. It would be very much more clear. So this is the functionality. You choose, you pick, and you choose, or you type. If I type Hernandez, only Her, only give me Karen. If I type Mo, actually all of it shows, but if I type Melly, it takes Melissa by default. So if you had a long list of people there, you would start typing something, and even that, or the email. So if I write demo Q3, it also shows, in this case, both of them. So it's something that auto completes and lets you pick the one that you want. And then for the rest, it works exactly the same way. In this case, it's the same email address, but we still need to verify per project. This is by design, so you know that, well, we can verify four of them. You know that for any person to be participating in a project, they have purposefully say yes, and this continues to be the same because it's different to be accepting to be part of a team than accepting to be part of a project, or basically a project. So that's kept separate. There's 2 verifications. The team you will only do once per team, so probably once forever, and then per project it will depend on the project. So if I go back to the email of demo Q3 in this case, let me see if I can get it back on the screen. If I go back to the inbox, here it is. I can go back here and see if it did send the invites. So here we have the 4 emails with the project participation emails that we know about. This is not new from the Teams functionality. It's just the default. So you have been identified as a consultant for this project. Yes, I am a participant, and that's it. And the same is true for everything else. So for every other project manager, service manager, IT, I would keep on accepting this here. And then if I go back and I refresh the page, I will see that those 2 people have already accepted their participation. And if I do it with the 2 missing, people, the team, here, one more as a service manager, and then finally as IT, if I say yes to all of them, and I go back to the project and I refresh, everything is verified, everything is green. So when I go back into the dashboard, everything is green. So here you see update participants is finalized, and we have been able to pick from a list that we couldn't do before the Teams functionality existed. Okay, so that's pretty much the content of today, the demo of this sneak peek of what's coming. And I tell you, this functionality is going to be available. So if we go to the upgrade option, we're going to see this functionality is going to be available for the Pro and Enterprise memberships. So if you have one of those, you will get the team functionality available for you. I will, when launching it and when announcing it officially, there will be the chance to actually get it activated as a trial as well, and we will work out the details on how to do that. But for you to understand what is a membership that you need for the team management. But I will announce that at the end of April, which is the official date when we're actually launching this. So I think nothing more. I don't see anything here in the chat. So yep, I hope you liked it. You found it useful, and it's part 1 of what's to come. So basically the Teams functionality is going to grow, and it's going to offer much more juicy stuff, like much more functionality that is going to be helpful for team managers, not only to facilitate how the different team members are assigned to projects, but also to have more insights on the projects and on the team occupancy. So I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.